morning, Course 2. We are here to work on Lesson 102, Transversals and Simplifying Equations. But first, this is a check to see if you're watching the videos. I have a riddle for you. And if you know the answer, I want you to text it to me so that I know that you're actually watching this, and I'll give you extra credit. My cell phone number is 831-261-6797. And here's your riddle. What kind of meals do math teachers eat? What kind of meals do math teachers eat? Now, I'm not going to give you the answer. You're going to have to text me your answer. When you do, you'll get extra credit. Yay for extra credit. And I will text you back whether you got it right or not. Okay, again, that is, what kind of meals do math teachers eat? Okay, we are ready to begin. A transversal is a line that goes across other lines. In this case, these two lines are parallel. That means that the distance between L and M here is the same as the distance between L and M over here. And this transversal is cutting right through both of them. You're going to notice that there are 8 angles formed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can also notice, because these lines are parallel, the angles have special relationships. So this is an acute angle, B is an acute angle, and it is the very same angle as C. It's the exact same measurement. Angle A is an obtuse angle, and it has the same measurement as angle D. Coming over here, angle C, which is acute, is the same as angle F, which is acute. And angle D, which is obtuse, is the same as angle E, which is obtuse. And we have the same thing happening. Angle F, which is acute, has the same degree measurement as angle G. And angle E, which is obtuse, has the same angle measurement as angle H. Now, this allows us to solve all kinds of interesting problems. So let's look at example 1. Transversal T, here's my T, transversal T intersects parallel lines L and M so that the measurement of A is 105 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and write right here, 105 degrees. Find the measures of angle B through H. Okay, we just told you that this measurement is the same as that measurement, and that's because of the law of vertical angles. A and D are vertical angles, so D is going to also be 105 degrees. And then looking at D and E, they are also the same due to alternate interior angles. Alternate means they're on opposite sides of the transversal. Interior means they're inside the parallel lines. So alternate interior angles are the same. So this is 105 degrees. Now we have another vertical angle situation. This one's going to be 105 degrees. Well, we've just identified the measurement of 3 additional angles. Now looking at this is 180 degrees because it's a line. We know that A is 105 degrees, so to find the letter B, we take 180, which is the measurement of a straight line, subtract 105 from it, and we get 75 degrees. So now we know B is 75 degrees. Here we have a vertical angle relationship, so that means C is 75 degrees. Here we have an alternative interior angle, That means this one is going to be 75 degrees. And then here we have a vertical angle, which means this one is going to be 75 degrees. So basically we have solved all those by just knowing one measure. All right, let's look at example 2. Let me reposition my paper. In example 2, transversal R, so here's a transversal, this time they labeled it R, intersects parallel lines P and Q. They want you to name 4 pairs of corresponding angles for A. So let's look at this. Corresponding angles. Corresponding angles are on the same side of the transversal. So if we look here, we've got angle 1, angle 4, angle 5, and angle 8, all on one side. But they also have the same degree measure. Corresponding angles. So angle 1 is a corresponding angle to angle 5. So I'm going to say angle 1 and angle 5. That's one pair of corresponding angles. Now another pair would be this pair, angle 4 and angle 8. They are also corresponding angles. Now I'm jumped to the other side. Angle 2 and angle 6 are corresponding angles. And then we also see that angle 3 and angle 7 are corresponding angles. All right, corresponding angles are on the same side of the transversal, and they're located on the same position of the 2 parallel lines, and that's how you can tell what they are. So that's A. Letter B, name 2 pairs of alternate interior angles. Okay, we did alternate interior angles up here. So C and F and D and E. So we're going to have the same thing here. It's just labeled differently. Alternate interior angles 4 and 6. So angle 4 and angle 6 are alternate interiors. They're alternate because they're on opposite sides of the transversal. They're interior because they're inside the parallel lines. The other pair is angle 3 and angle 5. And now we've identified our two pairs of alternate interior angles. Now they want to know 2 pairs of alternate exterior angles. I confused these, sorry guys. These are alternate interior, and it should be C. They're inside. And this is going to be alternate exterior. Okay, alternate exteriors. Well, here's one that's exterior. It's outside of the parallel lines. And it's alternates, which means it's on the other side, but it's exterior. So alternate exterior are angle 1 and angle 7. The other pair of alternate exterior would be, here's on the outside of the parallel lines. So angle 2 and angle 8. Those are the alternate exteriors. And just so you see them in the book, this should be C and this should be B. I mixed them up. Okay, turn your page. We're now on page 712. And now we're going to be solving some equations. Looking at this example 3, you can see we have to simplify before we can solve. So first of all, we have x's and numbers on this side of the equal sign and x's and numbers on this side. The first thing you'll notice is that we have variables that have no number in front of them. So we are going to go ahead and dress them. There's a 1x, there's a 1x, there's a 1x. So now we'll go back and we're going to combine. We have 3x minus 1x. And I'm going to rewrite this just so that we can see. Equals 17 plus 1x minus 1x. All right, 3x minus 1x is going to give me 3 minus 1, which is 2x plus 5 is equal to. Now here it's plus 1x minus 1x. Well, that's going to be 0. So now we have 17 plus 0, which is going to be just 17, right? So now we solve it as usual. We're going to subtract 5 from this side, subtract 5 from the opposite side. I now have 2x, these cancel, equals 17 minus 5 gives me 12. Now I'm going to isolate my x by dividing by 2 and making it 1x is equal to 12 divided by 2. My answer should be x equals 6, or 1x equals 6. You got that? All right. Now, here on this example 4, we have 5x minus 17 equals 2x minus 5. We need to get all the x's together on one side of the paper, on one side of the equal sign, and we need to get all of the numbers to the other side. So the first thing I'm going to do is add 17. And add 17. I want to make sure I do the same thing to both sides. Now I want to move the 2x over. I could do this in 2 stages, but I can also do it at the same time. This is a positive 2x, so I'm going to subtract 2x from this side, which means I subtract 2x from this side. Now we go through. This becomes 0. This becomes 0. We have 5x minus 2x is 3x is equal to, we've got a minus 5 plus 17, so that's going to be a plus 12. Now we have to isolate our x by dividing by 3. X is going to equal positive 4. And there is my answer. We have one more that we're going to solve before we begin our practice set. So here's example 5. This one, it's basically the same thing, only they threw a distributive property into it. And here's our part that has a distributive property. So this is 2 times x minus 4. That's the first thing we're going to do is take care of the parentheses. So we have 3x plus, we're going to multiply 2 times x is 2x. And then 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. You take the sign with the number. Equals 32. So now I'm going to be combining 3x plus 2x. That's going to give me 5x minus 8 equals 32. Now I need to move my 8 over to the other side. So I'm going to add 8 to both sides. Now this is 0, and we have 5x is equal to 40. To isolate my x, I divide each side by 5. X is equal to 8. And there is my answer. And now we're up to the practice set. All right, so here's my example that they put. There's a transversal, which they didn't label. And then they labeled all the angles S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. In A, they're asking us for 4 pairs of corresponding angles. Okay, corresponding angles are angles that are on the same side of the transversal and are in the same position. So if I look at V first, here's its position. I'm staying on the same side of the transversal, and here is the corresponding angle. These are corresponding. So my first set of corresponding angles is angle V, angle T. That's the first set. Now I look, let's stay on the same side of the transversal. Here is U, and if I look, same side of the transversal, same position, there's S. So now I have angle U and angle S. Okay, now I'm going to go to the other side of the transversal. Here's angle Z, and on the same side and same position is angle X. So now I have angle Z and angle X. Now going back, here is the position on this side of the transversal is Y, and that matching one, corresponding one would be W. So then I have angle Y, angle W. Now there are my 4 pairs of corresponding angles. For B, they ask us for 2 parts of alternate interior angles, 2 pairs of alternate interior angles. Alternate means they're on opposite sides of the transversal, and interior means they're inside the parallel lines. So that means we're going to look for them in these 4 angles right here, alternate interiors. So U and X are alternate, they're on opposite sides, and they're inside the parallel lines. So one pair is U and angle X. The second pair is going to be on the opposite sides here, Y and T. So then we have angle Y and angle T. Those are alternate interiors. Now they want to know the 2 pairs of alternate exteriors. Okay, alternate means on opposite sides. Exterior means outside the parallel lines. So that means this is outside the parallel line. The alternate one would be this one right here. So we have angle V and angle W are alternate exteriors. Then over here, we have 2 more alternate exteriors. The Z is outside the parallel lines, and so is the S, and they are on opposite sides of the transversal. So angle Z and angle S are my alternate exteriors. Now they're going to give us a problem to solve for D. If the measure of angle W is 80, so here's my angle W, I've got 80 degrees. What is each of the measures of the other angles? Okay, so I'm going to list these. Angle, let's see, S, angle T, angle U, angle V, angle W, angle X, angle Y, and angle Z. I'm going to take that out and put it here. All right, here are my what? So it's starting with angle W is 80. So the W and T are vertical angles, so T is going to also be 80 degrees. All right, here's alternate interiors. That tells me that Y is going to equal 80 degrees. And then here is a set of vertical angles. That tells me that V is going to equal 80 degrees. Well, so now I've got 4 of them labeled. Now we have to figure out, okay, a straight line is 180 degrees. We know that W is 80. That means if we subtract the measurement of W from 180, we're going to get the measurement of S. So I'm going to set up my problem, 180 degrees minus 80 degrees, and it's a nice cool 100 degrees. So S is now 100 degrees. Using vertical angles, X equals 100 degrees. alternate interior angles, and U equals 100 degrees. And then vertical angles, Z equals 100 degrees. And that's all there is to it, guys. Okay, now we have some problems. So turn the page to page 714. We have some problems that we're going to do together. Problem E. 3W minus 10 plus W equals 90. All right, we're going to do combining on this side. The first thing I notice is I don't have a number in front of one of my variables, so I'm going to give it its 1. And then I'm going to use the associative property and move it over. So I've got 3W plus 1W minus 10 equals 90. Notice nothing changed except their positions. So now I have 3W plus 1W, which gives me 4W minus 10 equals 90. And now I need to move my numbers over here to the other side. So I'm going to add 10 since it's the opposite side, sign to both sides. This becomes 0. I have 4W is equal to 100. Then I'm going to isolate my W by dividing by 4, which makes this 1 now. And I have to divide this by 4. So W is going to equal 25. And that is going to be your correct answer. Okay, let's do letter F. X plus 10 plus 2x minus 10 equals 180. All right, we're going to do some fancy combining here. First, we're going to dress up our variables. Here's a 1 and a 1. Okay, so now we have 1x plus 1x plus 2x plus 10 minus 10. I put the numbers together and the variables together. So 1 plus 1 plus 2 is going to give me 4x. A positive 10 minus 10 is going to give me 0. So now I can drop the 0. 4x is equal to 180. I'm going to divide both sides by 4. X is equal to, 4 goes into 18 4 times with 2 left over. 4 divides into 25 times. So my answer is going to be 45. Okay, here's letter G. 3y plus 5 minus y. Oops, this should be equals y minus 25. So the correct problem is 3y plus 5 equals y minus 25. All right, first thing I need to do is dress my naked variable. There it is. So now I have minus 1y that I'm going to be putting on the other side. And here I'm going to move my numbers over here. So this is going to be a minus 5. And I do that to both sides. This becomes 0. This becomes 0. Okay, 3y minus 1y is going to give me 2y is equal to minus 25 plus a minus 5 is going to give me minus 30. So now to isolate my y, I'm going to divide both sides by 2. Y is going to equal minus 15. There is your correct answer. Okay, letter H. 4n minus 5 equals 2n plus 3. Now, if I'm going too fast, make sure you turn off the video, work through your problem, and then come back. All right, so now I need to combine the variables together and the numbers together. So in order to move this variable over here, I'm going to subtract 2n. Now you might be asking, well, how do you know which direction to go? What I do is I always look to see which one is the larger number. Here's a 4n, here's a 2n. If I go this direction, I won't end up with a negative n, and that's what I try not to end up with negative n. All right, so we subtract 2n from both sides. We're going to add 5 to this side and add 5 to this side. This becomes 0. This becomes 0. Now I have 4n minus 2n, which gives me 2n is equal to 3 plus 5 is 8. I isolate my n by dividing by 2, and n equals 4. And there's the correct answer. Okay, letter I. 3x minus 2 times x minus 4 in parentheses equals 32. Okay, using our PEMDAS, you know that you have to start with the parentheses, and here we have a minus 2 times x. You have to carry the sign along with this number. So minus 2 times x, we have 3x. Minus 2 times x is going to give us minus 2x. Now we're going to do minus 2 times minus 4. Well, 2 times 4 is 8. Minus times minus is, you remember? Positive equals 32. All right, so now we're going to combine 3x minus 2x will give us 1x plus 8 equals 32. Now we're going to subtract 8 from both sides. This becomes 0. X is going to equal, or 1x is going to equal, let's see, 32 minus 8 is 24. Positive 24. And that's going to be my answer. Okay, letter J. 3x equals 2 times x minus 4. There's our next one. All right, the first thing we're going to do is the parentheses. So it's 2 times x. We've got 3x is equal to 2x, and then you go back and then 2 times negative 4. So it's going to be negative 8. I'm going to move the 2x over to this side. So I subtract 2x and subtract 2x. So now I have this one becomes 0. 3x minus 2x is 1x is equal to negative 8. And that's your answer. All right, we are done with the practice set. So now you're ready to do your lesson. Be sure to try to answer my joke from the first part of the lesson. Text me your answer and I'll give you extra credit. All right, see you at lesson 103.